The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. Peter approached Jesus and asked him, "Lord, if my brother sins against me, how often must I forgive him? As many as 7 times?" Jesus answered, "I say to you, not 7 times, but 77 times. That is why the kingdom of heaven may be likened to a king who decided to settle accounts with his servants. When he began the accounting, a debtor was brought before him who owed him a huge amount. Since he had no way of paying it back, his master ordered him to be sold along with his wife, his children, and all his property in payment of the debt. At that the servant fell down, did him homage, and said, 'Be patient with me, and I will pay you back in full.' Moved with compassion, the master of that servant let him go and forgave him the loan. When that servant had left, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him a much smaller amount. He seized him and started to choke him, demanding, 'Pay back what you owe.' Falling to his knees, his fellow servant begged him, 'Be patient with me, and I will pay you back.' But he refused. Instead, he had the fellow servant put in prison until he paid back the debt. Now when his fellow servants saw what had happened, they were deeply disturbed and went to their master and reported the whole affair. His master summoned him and said to him, 'You wicked servant, I forgave your entire debt because you begged me to. Should you not have had pity on your fellow servant as I had pity on you?' Then, in anger, his master handed him over to the torturers until he should pay back the whole debt. So will my heavenly Father do to you, unless each of you forgives his brother from his heart." When Jesus finished these words, he left Galilee and went into the district of Judea across the Jordan. The Gospel of the Lord. So, a series of quite challenging readings, to be sure. The first reading from Ezekiel, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense, especially on my first read-through. I remember being somewhat confused by all of this going out and coming back. Was he going on pilgrimage or into exile, or wasn't he? What was happening? And here in Jesus, we have Jesus giving us quite a scathing response here at the end. If we do not do what we're supposed to do, then our Father in heaven, so he says, will treat us like he treated that servant, handing him over to the torturers. But you see, I don't think it's as grim as all that in either of these cases. You see, God is asking Ezekiel to be a sign to the Israelites who have fallen, who have forgotten the promise of the Lord, to be their God, and they will be his people. And so he needs to be a visible witness to something different in their lives, to something different in the way that we approach the Lord, as if we don't know the way, because, spoiler alert, we don't. God knows the way. God leads us. And that's exactly what I think Ezekiel was trying to get at. That we go blinded, we go blindfolded in the night, and allow God to lead us, just like God led the Israelites out of the exile from Egypt. He led them by a smoke of a pillar of cloud, a cloud and a pillar of fire. There we go. I know Old Testament. And here in our gospel from Matthew, we have, I think, 2 really important truths, really important realities. One, that God will forgive us if we just ask. That's the beauty of it. This great debt, the servant with this great debt had a huge amount of debt that he needed to pay off. And he asked, "Lord, have mercy on me." And the master forgave. Just so will our Father in heaven forgive. If that's true, that God will forgive in that way, what should our response be? Well, it's not like this servant who refused to forgive those under him. We must also be as forgiving as our Heavenly Father is forgiving. If we don't, then we're going out there thinking that we know which way to go. This servant forgot that he needed to go out in the darkness under cover, so that he didn't know the way. rather to let God lead him. That's what we must do. It's not if our Heavenly Father will punish us or not. We need to seek forgiveness. We need to seek mercy. Ask, and it will be given.